Hi, what do you see?
See, we're getting up close and personal.
We left the cold of Wisconsin and made the 15-hour drive to Hilton Head, South Carolina for a week-long vacation. While our trip wasn't specifically for birding, we wanted to make the most of our opportunity to see birds we don't usually get to see up north. Today, our birding location is Coligny Beach. The beach consists of miles of flat sand with pools of water left behind by the tide. The beach is lined with shops and hotels, creating a place where people and animals coexist.
Upon arrival, the first bird we saw was a fish crow. Fish crows can be found in the coastal areas of the southeast United States. They can also be found along rivers, marshes, and other bodies of water. While they look very similar to their cousin the American crow, fish crows are smaller with a more hooked bill and hunched posture. These differences are subtle, but the best way to tell them apart is by hearing the call. The nasal call of the fish crow is a surefire way to tell it apart from the deep caw of the American crow.
Along with the fish crow, several laughing gulls were also present. Unlike fish crows, laughing gulls can be found in Wisconsin, but they are considered rarities. In South Carolina and most of the East Coast, however, they are common. Laughing gulls got their name from the hearty laughing call that they make. They are normally diurnal, but during breeding season they will search for food at night as well. Even though they are frequent on the shores of Hilton Head Island, being able to see these Wisconsin rarities up close was an amazing experience. Along with the laughing gulls were two other gull species common in Wisconsin, the ring-billed gull and the Bonaparte's gull. In Wisconsin, ring-billed gulls can be found year-round, while Bonaparte's gulls usually appear in the spring months and then stay for most of the summer.
We quickly noticed some of the birds were feeding on an unusual food source. Scattered along the beach were many cannonball jellyfish. Known as a delicacy in Japan and a favorite food of leatherback sea turtles, these jellyfish aren't known to be very harmful to people. Most of the jellyfish we found were dead. However, we did find one that was still moving.
Looks like this guy is still alive. So this guy is going to go try and toss it back in the ocean. Chilly?
Yeah.
How's he feel?
I think he's got some fight left in him. Along with the jellyfish were several olive snails. They are carnivorous and are one of the fastest sand-burrowing snails. So these cool snails on the beach. They create these little grooves in the sand. They're very beautiful, their shell. You can see their foot sticking out too. Put this little guy back. Continue his journey.
After taking some time to observe the local invertebrates, we turned our attention back to the birds. Out on the ocean, we observed black scoters and lesser scaup. Both species can be found in Wisconsin during migration. Closer to shore, another familiar Wisconsin bird was diving, the double-crested cormorant. Double-crested cormorants migrate in large flocks each spring. They can be found along the lakefront or in inland lakes and marshes.
Overhead, pods of brown pelicans surveyed the area. These birds were constantly flying back and forth parallel to the beach, searching for food. Most of the pelicans passed on by, but one landed and gave us great looks. Brown pelicans can be found along the southeast and southwest coasts of North America. They are one of only two pelican species typically found in the United States, with the other being the American white pelican. Brown pelicans incubate their eggs with the webbing between their toes, essentially standing on them. This became a problem when DDT caused the shells of eggs to become thin and easier to crush, which occasionally occurred when the pelicans were trying to warm them. In the 1960s and 70s, brown pelicans almost disappeared from North America, but due to pesticide regulations, they've made a full comeback, can now be seen flying over many coastal beaches. On the sand, shorebird species were also looking for a meal. A single sanderling in winter plumage skittered around the edges of the puddles left behind by the tide. Sanderlings are usually easy to find along the shores of Lake Michigan. In addition to the sanderlings, several semi-palmated plovers were also present. These pint-sized plovers are common in Wisconsin and can be found anywhere from Lake Michigan to inland marshes in the warmer months. While scanning for shorebirds, we found a species that was a little more rare for Wisconsin, the willet.
The willet is a large gray shorebird of beaches, mudflats, and rocky shores. They are most common on the coastlines. When in distress, willets will let out a piercing call and run with wings open as opposed to flying, unless flight is absolutely necessary. This species migrates through Wisconsin in the spring, but is a winter resident of South Carolina. During breeding season, males create a nest in grass, sand, or dirt and incubate the eggs at night. Like killdeer, willets will also fake a broken wing in order to draw attention away from their nesting site. These birds use their highly specialized bills to search for food in the sand. In fact, their bills are so sensitive that they don't even need their eyesight when searching for tasty morsels. This adaptation allows them to feed during the night as well as during the day. Willets were a popular food source until the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918 banned market hunting of the species.
Another exciting shorebird we found on the beach was a marbled godwit. Showing up erratically in the Wisconsin summer, they are common winter migrants through the Carolinas. It is a large shorebird with a long, upturned bill. The body is brown and cinnamon colored with barring on the chest in breeding season. When nesting, the females are extremely reluctant to flush from the nest, and may even stay to the point of being picked up since they are so unwilling to leave. This was by far the closest looks we have ever had, and we were very excited to see it.
Farther south on the beach, we found a nice mix of gulls and terns. One of the more interesting species in this group was the royal tern. The royal tern is a large white tern with an orange bill, black crown, and black wingtips. They are typically found on ocean beaches and rarely stray from the coasts. The oldest royal tern on record was at least 30 years 6 months old, found in Belize and banded in North Carolina in 1983. One of the more numerous and widespread terns in the area was the FORSTER'S tern. At one point or another during the year, FORSTER'S terns can be found in almost every state in the continental U.S. They are the only tern species that lives almost entirely in North America throughout the year.
After spending a lot of time looking at birds on the beach, we decided to check out some of the edge habitat. One of the birds we found was a very vocal male eastern towhee. Did you see the towhee?
No, where's the towhee?
Another species we found was a Eurasian collar dove, resting on a rooftop.
Additionally, we had a run-in with one of the most friendly birds in the South, the northern mockingbird. Northern mockingbirds are gray, thrush-like birds with 2 white wing bars per wing. Due to their wonderful singing abilities, they were once sold as cage birds and could cost as much as $50 in 1828. They add new sounds during the course of their lives, and males may learn close to 200 different calls. They will sing into the night and do this more often during a full moon.
While almost all the birds we saw were common in South Carolina, many were rare for Wisconsin and some never migrate that far north. The coastal beaches are places of wonder as the sprawl of tourism meets the majesty of the open ocean. All in all, it was a great day to enjoy unique habitat as well as the thrill of the journey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.